welcome everybody to TRG's Let's Learn. There we go. So we're going to cover the MLS basics today. Let me put on my headphones. No, you're going to have yours.
That's right, I'm out.
All right, well, I'll just continue on. So we're going to do MLS basics today. I think everybody's familiar with CRMLS for it. Let me do a share here. We'll pull up our MLS logins. I think everybody's familiar, at least with this page. So this is the CRMLS login website, crmls.org. Once you log in, you log in at the MLS dashboard. Once you log in, you'll have access to all of our additional benefits with CRMLS through the marketplace, as well as just the MLS online for our properties. So I'll go through a little breakdown of some of the products that are available here. First, we have Cloud CMA. That's an option for doing our market analysis, just like the main matrix one. Cloud MLX is just a different user interface to access properties. Cloud is a way to text properties to your clients. MLS Connect and the CRMLS app. I'm going to go over those two apps for you guys to see later on. The e-property watch is also a monthly reminder, just like that home bot that we went over at our office meeting earlier this year, to send reminders on property values to your client. HomeSnap is also a mobile app. Those are all ways to get your commission, but that are not related to like what our real estate does. MLS Touch, I'm gonna go over that one as well on the mobile app. Realist, which you can access through here, or once you get into the desktop. Remind is also a property search for choose like marketing and stuff, kind of like your title company searches for it for farming or direct mail marketing. RPR is also a property profile, more like a fast CMA that's done for the National Association of Realtors. So it has more properties than just California. So if you need to look up information from a different state, you could find it in there. Your super login, your showing time. Those are mainly the basic ones that will be used. If you want to look at stats on your office or sales in the area to see who's listing the most, InfoSparks does that as well. Any kind of forms and stuff that you guys need is all down here for the resources. So if you need any exclusions for not putting your property on the MLS, you want to print out how your clients see your information online and when a property is listed. Any kind of compliance stuff is there. The marketplace is any kind of freemium or pay products that are discounted down for CRMLS subscribers. So like Lion Desk, all these are free to a certain extent, and then it's monthly if you want more options. So those are all available in that marketplace area. So once we go into Matrix, you're back to your main dashboard here. Really, we're just going to go over the main ones, which is under our search feature here. It's really finding a property. Most of us deal with just residential. So I always recommend doing either the detail, which is everything that you want to search for, or the CMA, which is kind of a discounted down version of that search, just the main criteria. But before I do any kind of searches, I always go to Realist, which is our property profile information to find out who owns what properties for it. So I'll just pick an address. Let's do 5423 Lawrence Boulevard. Let's see what that one gives us. All right, let's do Sepulveda. That should come up too. So we have, this one is an income property, so I don't want that one. Let me pull up one of our TRG listings to make this easier. So we got 32 Newton Street. So you can see on this one, any properties that you pull up here, will give you all that basic information. It is listed in the MLS. You'll see it's going to have an active section on here. That way you know who the listing party is. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom for it, you'll see who the actual listing agent is. So this one's listed by Kathy in our office with the prices. And you can actually click right on the MLS listing number to get to that listing if you want to find out more about it. It also shows all of the history down here at the bottom where you can see how many times it was listed, if it was done for lease, for sale, expired, who the previous people were that listed it. It usually goes back usually to about early 1990s, as long as it was done in the MLS for it. Also has any kind of recordings that were done, so you can see who the owners are, who it's transferred through. All this is all same information that's available on our title searches. Same thing with mortgage history. Anything that's recorded against the property is listed here. These amounts may vary as they may pay them down more, or it may just be equity lines for it. Obviously, you can't just keep pulling out $500,000 every year, kind of like this one shows. So obviously they've been either paid or moved on to a new loan. And then any title rep can pull all these exact mortgage numbers as well, any kind of grant deeds, but based on their document numbers as well. For the single family, which is nice, just scroll about halfway down this page, it actually gives us an estimated value for it. So anybody that's planning on looking for a property for a buyer or is listing a property, this is a good number to start with. Obviously, if they wanted to buy this property and list it, which Kathy has listed, I think at 1.749 for it. It's listed right in that same criteria that's listed. So she's got that same before. Obviously, if you list it low, you'll know you'll get multiple offers. If you list it high, it's going to sit on the market a little bit longer for it. But she's right in that generic algorithm estimated value, which they call an automated value market price. That's what it stands for. And that they'll give you it for just like Zillow, any of those sites out there. Our data is a little bit more accurate than theirs, seeing as we see all the properties on the MLS. Zillow does not necessarily see all of them, and they boast theirs a little bit higher as they're more of a marketing website. Ours are pulled from exact recorded sales. Usually in our market area, we tend to be on the higher end of this average range, just because of the low inventory, and we're in a more desirable neighborhood than most of the cities that are listed. More information is listed here. Let's see if I go down. You also have your plot map for it and the location. But that's kind of a breakdown of everything here. If we're going to do any kind of searches, though, this is the main information that's going to be needed. And mainly it's bedrooms and baths and square footage to find it. If the property's already been listed also, but I'll show you guys in the MLS search, you can find the actual MLS area. And you can see on this one, it's listed by Kathy, it's in the Hollywood Riviera MLS area, which is 128. To me, the only way to find that is by looking at the Thomas map or using the filter. And all the areas, to me, have never really been easy for me to remember. So it's not a thing you have to memorize. You can always look it up anytime in the MLS for it. So that's kind of a breakdown of Realist for it. Once you have a property area that you want to look for, so we'll look in that area that she has listed. So we're going to take the Newton address here and go into matrix. So we're going to look for coming soon, active, pending. We'll just do active so we can see what's available. Single family, obviously it's in Torrance. I always like putting in the zip code too, because those are easier to remember than MLS areas. And you can see right now, just in all of 90505, we have 13 that meet that criteria as active coming soon and that are single family homes for it. So when you click on the results, it takes you all the way to that results tab first. But first we want to find out where this property is at. So if we click on the map, you can see that the MLS area and the zip code are very different. So if you click on the layers tab here, you can see your MLS areas and zip code. So if we just do it by zip code, it'll drop out here. You can see that all 90505 goes from Sepulveda almost to Prospect, all the way down Crenshaw Boulevard, a little bit into the Walteria, Rolling Hills, PD Drive area, across PCH and around. So you can see that all different tracts of homes are built in different areas. Obviously, when you're over here in the Calignior Seaside area, if you're up on the hill, you may have a view. If you're down here on Palos Verdes Boulevard and Sepulveda, you're short, walk or bike ride to the beach. So that's going to be more desirable. Obviously, if you're over by our office here on Hawthorne, you're going to be closer to the airport, busier streets. You can see where all the parks are to add more value to it. So we're going to take away the zip code and do just the MLS area. So when we looked at that last property, we saw that she was in 128 for it. So that's this little sliver that actually goes to the beach area. So you might find yourself in situations like this where you have to kind of do a dividing barrier, because there's going to be values and difference between being on the right side, which is the east side, versus the west side, which is closer to the beach for it. So all of 128 is pretty much where most of the listings are. There's a few straggled in Southeast Torrance and then South Torrance. So we're going to go back to our criteria and we'll remove that zip code. And we're just going to do 128 since we know the MLS area now. Now we're down to our results. And we'll zoom in here. Also, if we want to type in our address, which is the jump to at the top right, it'll actually drop a pin where that property is listed. Obviously, this one's still active, so it'll have a marker there as well, but that pin drop will give you an exact location for it as well. So if you wanted to dial down this search even more, you could use your polygon, which is here at the top, and we could just drop it down. We literally wouldn't want anything on the west side. And you guys can actually manipulate this however you want and draw it all the way around for those listings. Same way as narrowing it down to just the MLS area. It's just kind of like a deep dive into making that criteria tighter. And the other thing too is if you zoom in, or all this information is listed to Realist. So if we wanted to click on a property next door to it, we can actually look right at who the owners are for it when they sold it. So it's all available for you guys to see as well. So on either side of this property, you can see what those other comps would be. This one sold in 2012. I'm across the street from the property. This one hasn't sold. It's been a trustee's owner for a while. Across the street on the right side, same thing, another trust for it as well. 1987. The corner one here is 1995. So you can see how easy you guys can access all these properties as if you're doing more of a Google Maps kind of a walkthrough of the area without actually going to that property. So that's kind of like the basics of doing a search for it. If we wanted to set up these active properties here as a auto email to a client, really we would make sure that we had all of them selected here. Go to our results. You can see we have one that's coming soon. So this one that's on Bluff Street is not going to be available on any public portals. So your Zillows, your Redfin, all that, unless they log into that site, then there'll be more as they call a virtual office website, a VOW, and that will give them access just like we do for our auto emails. So that's the only difference between a coming soon and an active as of right now. You can't show the coming soons. Once you do, they will become active. So hopefully everybody is following the new rules on that. So on these, we're going to click all of them, and we're going to do under save. And you can see you can do the new save search for it, but we're going to do a new auto email. So we're going to pick a contact here. We're going to put TRG Danny. We're going to copy me on it. So you can add anybody else you want on these emails. And then we're going to do 90505. Riviera Torrance. And we're going to do single family so they know. I did put any price criteria on this because we only had a few of them. And so we're going to get this first welcome email that's going to tell them how to access that auto email. And every time there's a new listing that meets that criteria, they're going to get this as well. You guys can edit this, you can change it, you can put in your own text. It all is saved right here as well. Same thing with your signature. If you click on the edit right here, you'll be able to edit it directly in your My Account section. I recommend just copying and pasting whatever signature you use on your email now for it. Here's your actual criteria that the system is pulling. So you can see it's pulling single family, coming soon, active. They are residential single family in the city of Torrance. And then anything that's in that area that we actually drew that polygon for. If your client is picky and they want properties with views, with pools, or if it's a lease that they're looking for and it has to have pets, you can enable this concierge mode for it. Once that's done, the properties will be sent to you first. You'll have to go into the MLS manually and send them ones that meet their criteria. This is more work on the agent, but if this is a specific property that they want, it's going to require more work on your time. If you click on the available reverse prospecting, other agents will see that you have a client that's available for this, so they'll reach out to you about any prices, changes, or showings for it. And then at the bottom here, you have enable favorite search. This is right on your home tab. So when you first log in the matrix, you can see this search anytime. So it's available. You can only do 12 of them, but it's a nice way to do it. I saved one for all of our TRG listings. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So they have two sections for how they send these emails out. One of them is ASAP. This is as soon as the property hits the market or in the MLS, it's going to go out to your clients. I don't always recommend checking that because if somebody mistypes the price or it's in a different area, your client's going to get an email and it won't necessarily be correct for it. Now, when they click on it, they'll see that it's changed or it's done. But usually those errors are done in those first 5 minutes when properties are put on the MLS. I always recommend doing the daily for it. The AM is the default for it. I believe emails go out around 8:30, 9 o'clock every morning. It's in the PM, they go around that 5 to 6 o'clock time frame. This way, it's just automatic. So if any kind of properties got listed today, right now at noon, they're not going to go out to my client for this search until tomorrow morning for it. Obviously, the ASAP would send them out as they hit the market. So we're going to click save on this. And then when we go back up to the top where it says my matrix, you guys can see where it says auto emails. And here you can see all of the auto emails that are sent out on your system. So you can see this one still has the circle with the white in on it. Once it's green, that means it's been activated by the client. So we have a couple here set up for Jamie here is looking for residential income properties. I have someone that's looking for leases in Torrance. What's really nice about this is it gives you a track record of all the emails that are sent and when they opened it. So like today's, for example, he opened up the first email that went at 8:09. He opened that up at 11 a.m. this morning, and he went through his other ones and looked at it. So he hasn't checked anything for about 2 or 3 days. And then he just got a new revision that I sent him this morning that changed it for the pets for it. If we look at this one for the income properties right here, you can also see how your clients are doing. Is the last time he looked at any emails was May 22nd. And on Sunday, he checked one, and then he's gotten a couple new listings over the last couple of days this week for Monday, and he hasn't looked at them for it. So this shows you how your client is actually involved with the transaction, how much they really want to buy a property. If they're looking at them every single day, which I think one of these we might have. Let's see how they're doing. Yeah, so this person is looking at them as they come in. So this client is more ready to buy, just based on their email interactions than anybody else is on our other emails are going out. Another example is this one down here, with just a lead that called that was looking for it, and they never looked at anything for it. So if this is the situation that you're in for it, all you have to do is delete this one for it. You can also turn it as disabled. So if I click on disable, the client won't be able to access anything for this. And this is also a good way if you have a average looker on it, is disabling it, because it's going to force them to call you in order to get these new listings coming through, or all of a sudden they seem like they're cut off. So it might spark that conversation as well for it. More on the add edit. So if we go to my matrix, there we go. The other thing is under roster here, is if you type in your username for the MLS and then click edit, this takes you to all that information that's available for you to edit. So you can change any of your contact information. So if you change your phone number, you change your email, all that's here as well. You can edit it all. If you came from a different office to our office, that should be changed also as well. If you want any email addresses, phone contacts, that's all here as well. So go back. We can also manage photos. So I always recommend that everybody has a photo in the MLS for them.
Where's the beard?
Because if you have a property listed on Zillow or Redfin, they actually syndicate these photos as the premier listing. If you don't have a photo, you're going to be that little question mark blob that nobody knows who you are. So you might as well get the free advertising of you rather than clicking on a competitor that's paying to advertise on your listing for it. Agent roster. Also, if you need to look up anybody, we can look up Durf, for example. I always like looking at his because you can see at the bottom here for Natchez, there's only one Durf in the system. So we click results. This is his all, so he has his picture uploaded for it. It shows you what his login, if you need to find that for either listing a property as pending and he's representing a buyer. This is the way to do it, as well as doing that find. Gives you his contact information for phone number, office number as well, email, and then also who the broker is. This is also key information too if you're having any issues with the transaction. We always recommend that you copy Durf on anything and the broker of that other office. Usually once an email is sent to the brokers, everything gets resolved quicker than agents just arguing back and forth over emails. So this roster is available for everybody that's in the MLS for it. There is a situation where they are not in the MLS. So if it's a independent broker, maybe they're not a realtor, it could be an attorney representing it. You have another option too when you put that property to pending. Let's see. I won't go over to adding a listing for that. I think that's going to be a class all in itself. To put you guys in there to show you how to do the coming soon and all that. But I'll jump right into other features that you guys can use to share your listings out to the public. So let me do a new share here. It'll pop up. There we go. So everybody should see my screen now. Yep, for it. All right, so we have two apps that we kind of use all the time here. One of them is the CRMLS app, so I'll open up that one for you guys to look at. So on this app, if you click on that left-hand side, pull my mouse up here, left-hand side, since I can't do it on my phone. They call this the hamburger menu. For you guys that know, that's those three lines that look like a hamburger. It's usually in the top left or top right of any app online. Here you can do any search. So this is linked directly to your MLS for it. So you want to look up your listings for it. It'll automatically drop the pins for all the listings that have under your name in the MLS, whether they're sold, active, or pending. We go back to that hamburger menu on the side. We have that agent roster. So if we want to search anybody in here, You can search Durf again. And you can see it pulls him right up on here with his picture. We click on his name. We actually call him or email him right here from the app. So it's almost like having a free contact list available to you to look up anybody. Your contacts in here, any saved searches that you have from the MLS are automatically pulled into this app as well. So you can do stuff before you go to a property. So you can see I've saved lots of searches, but they pull all of them over from the MLS into the app as well for it. You can launch the Matrix app right there. Showing time, I think it takes you to the website rather than the app for it. But this automatically logs you into it. So they call it a single sign-on for it. So once everything's linked for it, you can see your listings, your showings, check out anything as well. You can also share this app. So this will give a client a version of the branded app to them rather than the one that we log into. So they only see what you send them via that app. They can also do searches as well. What's neat about the CRMLS app for it is we go back to my listings for it. You guys can do, when it's active here. So we pull this one on Camino Real and click on it. You can see here at the bottom here where it says sharing a message. So you guys can actually send this via text to anybody that you want, and it'll be branded with your information for it. So you can do this with any listings. I'm just using one that's ours. You can also do it as a message. This will be a message in the app to anybody that you've sent before. And then at the bottom here, you actually have a newer feature they added. I believe it was either last year or earlier, or probably late 2019, is the edit listing feature here. So you can only do basic editing for it. So if you need to do a price change, you can do it right from the app without having to log in the MLS or changing any public remarks for it. Obviously, they're trying to get more and more features available for us to do it from the app, so you don't have to keep logging into Matrix. It's nice to be able to just click one button on your phone and be logged into the MLS. Also shows you all the history for it. If you favorite it, this one doesn't have the realist brought into it, but it does give you the same stats that you would see on any kind of public portal for it. So CRMLS is a neat activity app for you to use, but I recommend using the new one, which is the Home or MLS Touch, because they removed the Home Spotter app, which may come back here for it. So if we go back, kind of see that this is as soon as you log in for it. You click on My Listings. It's a little bit easier interface for it. I'll show you what this one looks like for on a share, so you guys can see. But this one actually has branding that you guys can set up, and I'll show you how to get to that spot here. So you can see on this page, this is the mobile one. So this was not active for it. So you can't really see it, but at the top and the bottom, if it was a web page, it would be on the right side, but it shows you all your information. So it looks like this listing is yours, and you can do this with any listing that's in the MLS for it. And you can text it, you can send it via Messenger, anything that you want to use for it. Same thing with this one. If we do a search, you have your filters here on the top right. You can adjust it however you want, the amount, the cost, the area, bedrooms and baths, do everything just like you can on the MLS right from your phone. You can also just do a proximity search. Let's change our filter to property type. No, we want status. We're going to do coming soon and active only. All right, so just in our neighborhood here near the office, you can see that there is some income properties. We need to change the property type to all residential. I'll make it a little bit bigger because I know there's only a few listings as we look through it. So our closest one to our house is a single family home on Anza. So we click on that property here. You can see the date that it was added. So it was back in March for it. You can see the public remarks. So this is what's listed on any IDX website out there. What's really neat is you have this realist data, which pulls it right from realist without you having to log into it. So you can see who the owner is. This is great when you're writing offers. You can see that this one's in a trust for it. So it's Daniel J. Rollins, trustee for it. APN, characteristics, so it's single family, year built, bedrooms, baths, your estimated value, which pulls right from the MLS. Sales price when last it sold, and all that information down below. So what's great about this is you're always going to be showing properties. They're always going to ask you, well, when was the last time it was sold, or how much was it worth back then, you know, or what are they paying for it, or so this gives you information that's available right here at your fingertips while you're at a property by literally opening up this app to look at it. Let's see, you have other features, so it'll list you everything that's on to those IDX feeds as well. You also have agent remarks and showing instructions, which are usually pretty valuable to buyer's agents. You can see this one is do not use showing time. So if you're using showing time for this one to book an appointment, the agent is not going to respond to you. Call to set up the appointment for it. Here's your contact information. What's great for it being in the app here is you can see you can just click on any of the numbers here, whether it's email, and you'll call that or email that agent directly. If you click on the agent's information, same thing, is you can text them, call them, showing requests, all built into the app. On the showing instructions. Full mask, call, you need to follow the PED. And there was a peaceful passing on the property. So that they also disclosed that, you know, there was a death on the property as well. So that doesn't work for your client, you'll know right away. And also you have the history here at the bottom. What's great about this is you can see what's actually happened on a date breakdown, which makes it easier to explain that to your client. Why is this one on the market so long? And you can see they've reduced it quite a bit. And then the difference on it, how many days. And so if I wanted to send this one to a client,
you can see all 43 pictures.
Yep, I can do by email if we want. And I really want to show you guys what it looks like on so once I get the email here. What it looks like on the desktop, seeing as the main page doesn't really show you a lot what's going on. But so this is the email that I just sent to anybody. So it already looks like it's branded with your information. But when I look at the whole listing on it, it's there as well. So I'll click on that page. You can see this whole page is branded as if it's my listing for it. So this is all available for anybody to do with any listings that are in the MLS. You can see at the bottom here and the very fine print where it came from and who's listed it. But you guys are more than welcome to send these out to your clients. Just like the auto emails are sent out by you. And that's an easy way for you guys to market listings even when you don't have them.
Sorry.
Can you get a hold of Raymond Espinosa?
So I pretty much covered just the basics on the app.
Okay, 184. Can I give you the phone number?
On
Put it on your
the
phone.
site here. So I would just suggest that if anybody has any questions about doing anything, I can go over it. Anybody have questions on using Matrix as a whole or doing a search? We can do a CMA search if anybody wants to.
Sure, do one.
Okay, where do you or anybody have a property address or location?
I'll give you one. 5333 Little
Okay.
Bow Road.
Little Bow Road.
Rancho Palos Verdes.
Okay. So So we got that one. We'll go on to realist first because we want to find out who the owners are for it. So we have this one that's listed as active for it. MLS as 2,300 square feet, built 1957, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths for it. But once we have the address here,
That's his listing.
yep, so we'll pull it up here. We'll do a CMA search here. We're gonna do coming soon, active, closed, pending. It's a single family for it. And then the zip code is 90275. Since I don't know the MLS area, this is how easy anybody out there can do it. We need to narrow down the square footage on it. So we go back to this listing, you can see it's probably, we want listings anywhere between 1,900 to maybe 2,500 for it. So that'll be your living area to 2,500. And we have 103 listed for it. So we're going to click results. We're going to go to our map. You see it for the old zip code, which doesn't really work for Palos Verdes, does the whole peninsula. So we're going to type in the address for the jump to. Gonna drop a little pin here. That way we know where the property is exactly. If we go up to the layers tab here, we're going to pull in MLS areas. And you can see that narrows down the area a little bit better. So we're actually in that silver spur, which is dead center for it. So that's area 176. So if we go up, we can remove the zip code, go to area 176. Now we're down to 15. See, making it real easy. We'll click our results.
Danny, what do you do if one property has something extraordinary about it? Like they spectacular views or just totally pimped out. How do you compare like a spectacular view to the other properties?
Well, usually it'll be based on a price point. So you usually may have to go back farther to find the comps, but we'll see on here. So like right now, as I can see from just these lists for it, is yours is extremely high, listed as active than anybody else's. So that means it obviously offers something else that these other ones don't.
Right.
So whether it's a brand new infinity pool that has 180 panoramic view, or it's got like Iron Man style glass views where the windows tint themselves, or it's home automation. It's got something that none of these other properties can even compare to that justifies that value. So we're going to remove yours from it just to do the narrow. And I would say let's go back a little bit farther because all of these are kind of priced in the same area. And we'll go back a full year just to get more properties for it. And we tend to have to do this a lot more for income properties since they don't tend to sell as often. Same thing, so we still have quite a few here that are not listed, so we'll remove yours. So really there's nothing else active for it. So if we go through any of the other properties, well, I guess if we go back to the original results, so everybody can kind of see, because you have the photos listed here, so we can actually see them for it. So you can see the view at the back for it. Normally we'd have to do this via Google, so this would be really all that we would see as these first couple of photos. We wouldn't be able to see the inside for it unless it was sold previously. So you can see everything on here has been upgraded and done. You got skylights, you got crown molding. This is pretty much a move-in turnkey property for it. So obviously this is going to be the highest property, but we can't usually necessarily justify that because when I do comps, I really don't look at anything that's cosmetic for it. The only thing that would be adjusted would be like the view, for example, which we'd be able to see. I consider everything just price per square foot to keep it easy for it. So it obviously has a terraced backyard. So you got ocean views of the piers there. So we go to the next property here. So this is the only one that's active under contract. This is your normal PV home. It's a little bit more dated, but it is clean on the inside. Just to me, it just needs paint to make it more modern. Hardwood floors, it's like double pane windows throughout. Some skylights, not a lot, like compared to your listing for it. Yeah, let's see if we can get a view shot.
Everything over there?
It's like a city view more than a.
Huh?
Lots of pictures of the interior.
I
We're at
think
75, which I
that's
think is
complain now, right?
the max.
Yeah.
Bathroom's a little bit, it's not as modern, but I mean, it is still nice and clean for it. Yeah, so this view, I would say it's probably half the value of what yours is. Problem is I notice a lot in the Torrance and PV area as everybody kind of has these peak of view views. Obviously, the house doesn't have a view. This is from the roof for it. So unless you're going to build up on it, well, you actually have that view and you have the power lines. I remember looking back on yours, you didn't have any power lines in your view as well.
It also has an orchard. It has 57 fruit trees.
Okay. Yeah, sadly, that really doesn't add much value. I mean, at least in my opinion for it. It may make it sell, but you know, it's not something that somebody's going like, oh, I want to buy a house with trees for it. Most people that are buying homes now, you know, are first-time home buyers, so they're just looking at the basics of what they can do with the frame. So this one's listed at 1.1. So yes, a lot of these are a lot lower on it. I guess the easiest way, if we go to yours, to kind of give me a better bearing on it, is if we click back on that realist view, it should have that estimated value to give you kind of a breakdown what they comped it at. So this one obviously already adjusted because it was listed, but they put the value at that 2.8 to 3.1, which is, this is probably the closest I've ever seen on them together. So I'm wondering how long that you guys have had it for. 1996. Yeah. Yeah, so 1996 is when the transfer was. So obviously done a lot of work to it as well. I go back to the other comps here. Really, I can just look at the square footage here. So to kind of give you an idea, so you can see is the highest property that is sold in the last year is under $900 per square foot. So that is the top of the market. And that was one that recently just sold here in April for it. That's that 867. If we look at your listing for it, you're listed at $1,000 to $1,350 about price per square foot for it. Looking at the size, almost all of these are 4 bedrooms for it. Yours only has 2 baths. Some of these have 2 and then a 3/4. You know, they all have like these little probably powder rooms or just a toilet that are extra. So that's the only thing I can see that would be different from the other comps out there. So realistically, if you wanted it to sell today, maybe that wouldn't be the right price. But I would think that if you listed it down to anywhere in that 900 to 925 per square foot, so at 925 on the high end, times, what's the 22, 24, that would put you just over 2 million, so like 2.1. So sadly, by home buyers looking at this, they're saying that you're probably between 700 to 800,000 overpriced for it.
Okay.
That's where you have to figure out how much is that view worth to somebody out there. Obviously, if the home was only worth 2 million, they're not going to pay $1 million for the view, and that's shown by it being listed for 87 days. So I'm just using the data that's here. You can see that all these other ones sold relatively fast. We do have another one that's 185, so we'll look at that one just to see what happened on this transaction. So it really wasn't reduced much for it. This is up in the PV via Campesina area. Oh, let's go the other way so you can see there's a view shot. This is
This
the
one
city,
was-
view, not an ocean view for it.
If it's been off the market and then it fell out, will that show?
Yep, so on here, so on the days on market, so you can see it breaks down everything that's happened on that listing. So this original listing actually started, so this is 100 something days in November of 2019. They did a couple of reductions. So they originally started at 1,402,250 for it. They listed it down to 1,399,000 for it. They dropped it 3,000, looks like. Then they put it back up pending, and then they dropped it back down another couple thousand, and now they're at the 1,350,000 for which has been at since August of last year.
Well, this one, it sold for 2.65 and then it fell out. So when someone looks, will they just see that it just sat there and went sour? Or will they see, hey, well, it was off the market?
Well, anything that's listed on the pending for it, you'll see on here, doesn't count. So it's only
Oh,
when
okay.
it's actually active. Because although obviously this should have that's a little notice, it should have had almost 400 days on market. But it's only counting on here the 185 because that's when it was available to the public, even though obviously you can still write offers on properties that are pending or active under contract. Or even in escrow. So my suggestion is that, I mean, it's all depending on how much you want to make from that property, but by looking at all that, that's the only difference. I'd have to go through each one of these
Yeah.
individually to find out which ones have views and stuff or not. But that's the real deciding factor is that view worth 800,000? It may be worth only 250, it may be worth only 500. But that's how the market will dictate it. So the best scenario, if you need to sell the property, is I would look at doing a $250,000 reduction first, just to drop you
Okay.
down to that 2.750, and then in 30 days, if you don't get an offer, do the same thing, drop it to 2.5, and then if it sits on there for another 30 days and you don't get any activity, drop it to 2,250,000. But I can
Okay.
guarantee you when it gets to 2 million, it'll be sold. It's just figuring out, how much more you can get for that view.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else have any questions or? All right, so I said, every time I do a CMA, it's always just based on the numbers, and that's the only way. I mean, I could do this same CMA and I would have came up with the 1.8 to $2 million value without even going in the property. Now obviously we can't be exact on the price, and it's always better to list low for any kind of listings for it. And normally buyers too, is you may have that buyer out there that's only qualified to like 2.5 on this, and they're never going to write an offer because they know that they can't afford it. And at least in this market with multiple offers on stuff, they're expecting it to sell for more. So that's always the other plus to listing low rather than high, because if you would listed this one at the 1.99, it probably would have sold for 2.3 with the activity, not factoring with that view is worth. And that's for the market to dictate. I haven't done very many properties that have views, but usually somebody will pay what it's worth. And when you have competition, that's the best way to find the value for it, especially when there's nothing for sale. So everybody has seen your property. Another thing I can show you guys is under the My Listings. If you log into the top here, you have this full list. Default is, I think, the My Listing inventory. And that shows you all of your past listings. If you have it to just My Active Residential, which most people have, so we just have one there for it. But at the bottom of all the IDX stuff here, you have My Hit Counters. What's real nice about this is it gives you that overview of knowing who looked at your property and who's favorited it for it. So currently we only have one active listing that we can show you guys, but we have it listed in a bunch of different areas because it's really being sold for land value. But you can see who's actually looked at it. So we've had 39 client portals. So these are agents sending out emails to clients, and they've logged in just based on land. So there are people out there looking for land in the South Bay area. On the residential income, and that's our hottest market. It looks like here is that's 414 people are looking at emails, and then we have client views of 227 independent emails that have actually clicked on that. They've had only one favorite and 3 possibilities. We did list it in residential because only one of them is really habitable, and it shows you what the difference is. Nobody's favorited that for it. We've only had 34 people look at that, and it's probably because they're just looky-loos based on that location. But this is an easy way to figure out how your listing is doing. So that's what I would recommend on yours, Betsy, is look at how many client views there are. If you're not getting like around these numbers where you're getting 200, 300 views, because yours has been listed for 80 something days, about as long as ours has, you should have at least those same numbers. And you should have one client favorite and at least a few possibles. If you click, I think, on the reverse prospect for it, you guys can see who those agents are. So this is where you'll have to do some extra work for it. But like Sarah Park here is the only one that's ever favorited. So like if we had nobody to buy this is where agents can reach out to them directly and contact them and be like, hey, is your client really interested in it? Can I go show it to them? Same thing with these ones that are possible, as we have Dave, James, and Manser. This is what we have to actually do, that extra legwork as a listing agent, and you can actually contact them directly and maybe negotiate the price, to get them to actually open up escrow. But that's another feature that you guys can also use as well. But this is only if they check that box, reverse prospect, which most people do. And we even have one of the offers here. So we actually know that they sent out an email on the property. All right, so that's it. Thanks for joining us for this Lunch and Learn.
Thank you.
Pull this up.
Thank you.